Everything changes when you read the note Barbara Hale left behind, in which she confessed everything. On April 18, 1922, Barbara Hale was born in DeKalb, Illinois. Wilma Colvin Hale and Luther Ezra Hale were the parents of Barbara. She was raised in Rockford, Illinois, after her family relocated there. Hale's early years were characterized by hard work, familial loyalty, and a quiet resolve that would eventually define her career. She grew up during the Great Depression. She enrolled in the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts with the intention of becoming an artist, but destiny had other ideas. She quickly gained recognition for her grace and attractiveness, which led to modeling jobs and subsequently the movie industry. When she signed with RKO Pictures in the early 1940s, she made her Hollywood debut. She initially played minor, uncredited parts, but it soon became apparent that Hale had a unique quality, a blend of modesty, grace, and quiet power that set her apart. Her flexibility was demonstrated in her early films, such as Higher and Higher, 1943, and The Window, 1949. She was equally adept at playing serious dramatic roles as well as light romance ones. She developed into a dependable and well-respected leading lady over time, appearing with well-known celebrities including James Stewart, Robert Young, and Frank Sinatra. Directors appreciated her expertise and ease in front of the camera, and audiences adored her for her warmth and intelligence. But Barbara's biggest triumph was on TV, where she was immortalized as Della Street, Raymond Burr's Perry Mason's devoted and astute legal secretary. One of the most recognizable courtroom dramas in television history was Perry Mason, which ran from 1957 until 1966. For its time, Hale's depiction of Della Street was revolutionary. During a time when women were frequently shown as housewives or supporting roles, Della was self-assured, astute, and essential to Mason's legal triumphs. Raymond Burr and Barbara had a fantastic chemistry. Both on and off screen, they had a close friendship and a profound regard for one another that lasted for decades. She received significant fame and critical acclaim for her portrayal of Della Street. She cemented her status as one of television's top stars in 1959 when she took home the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. Between 1985 and 1995, Hale repeated her cherished role in over 30 Perry Mason television films, even after the original Perry Mason series concluded. These movies showed her character to younger audiences and demonstrated that her charm never waned. Hale continued to serve as the series' emotional core while collaborating with Burr once more until his death in 1993. Her serene voice, composed manner, and steadfast devotion came to represent Della Street. Barbara Hale's film career was just as remarkable as her television success. She starred in almost 50 feature films, including well-known ones like Lorna Doone, 1951, Jolson Sings Again, 1949, and The Boy with Green Hair, 1948. Her ability to give each part nuance and humanity was evident in every performance. In spite of the glitz and glamour of stardom, Hale was able to keep his personal life steady and discreet, unlike many Hollywood celebrities. In addition to her brilliance, Barbara Hale was respected for her kindness and decency. She never sought controversy or scandal and exuded serene confidence. She valued her home life even more than her celebrity, and she frequently discussed the value of family and faith in interviews. She was often hailed as courteous and generous by her colleagues. A real lady in every way possible. Her success in Hollywood was based on honesty, hard work, and a sincere passion for her work rather than just glitz. Barbara Hale's life took a romantic turn in 1945 while she was working on the set of the Western movie West of the Pecos, which would define her pleasure off-screen for decades to come. A young, attractive actor named Bill Williams, whose true name was Herman August Wilhelm Catt, was one of the rising Hollywood talents that starred in the film, which was based on a Zane Grey novel. Hale was a bright, poised actress who was starting to establish herself in the film industry, and Williams was a ruggedly appealing performance, recognized for his all-American features and quiet confidence. Hale and Williams formed an instant and unmistakable bond throughout the long days of filming in the dusty desert settings and the peaceful evenings spent with the cast and crew. What started out as a cordial friendship quickly developed into a sincere and profound romance because of their chemistry, which was as evident off-screen as it was on. Williams's generosity, modesty, and steady demeanor appealed to Hale, attributes that made a lasting impression in the cutthroat, hectic world of Hollywood. In turn, he appreciated her intelligence, her calm strength, and her grounded manner, all of which matched his laid-back disposition. The foundation of their marriage would be their shared beliefs, which included a strong commitment to family and a belief in hard labor. They became inseparable as their courtship grew more intense. Though they both favored peaceful evenings at home to the sparkle and glamour of the movie world, they were frequently spotted together at Hollywood events. On June 22, 1946, their love blossomed into marriage in a simple yet sincere ceremony that mirrored their grounded personalities. Even though Hale and Williams were both performers, they were able to forge a marriage that withstood the rigors of Hollywood's rigorous schedules and unrelenting attention. In a period when many celebrity marriages were short-lived, they were regarded by friends and co-workers as one of the entertainment industry's most loyal and stable couples. Hale would subsequently remember that their marriage was based on humor and respect for one another, two qualities that remained constant even throughout the most trying moments. Together, they brought up 3 kids, a son named William Catt, who would follow in his parents' footsteps and become a great actor in his own right, and 2 daughters, Jody and Juanita. Hale frequently prioritized his family over his job because they were a very close-knit family. Because she felt that being a wife and mother was her greatest duty, she periodically declined roles in order to spend more time with her kids. There was a lot of warmth, creativity, and support in their home. Both Hale and Williams emphasized kindness and humility while creating an atmosphere that encouraged their kids to pursue their artistic interests. William Catt, their son, would become famous after starring in the popular television series The Greatest American Hero in the 1980s and then co-starring with his mother in the Perry Mason television films, which demonstrated their close relationship. Hale took great pride in her kids. She frequently talked about how fortunate she was to have a family who appreciated stories and acting as much as she did. In a field that is notorious for short-lived partnerships, Barbara Hale and Bill Williams' nearly 50-year marriage is a monument to unwavering love and commitment. They stayed faithful companions through victories, changes in their careers, and personal struggles until Williams's death in 1992. In addition to bringing them happiness, their friendship, religion, and respect for one another made them an inspiration for enduring love in Hollywood. Grace, strength, and unwavering loyalty characterized a love story that mirrored Barbara Hale herself. As the confident and astute Della Street, the devoted secretary to Raymond Burr's Perry Mason on television, Barbara Hale was admired for decades. Millions were enthralled by their on-screen chemistry, which led to one of the longest-running collaborations in television history. However, there were rumors of a close and complex friendship going on behind the scenes, one that might have had greater significance than the public ever realized, according to a note Barbara allegedly left behind before she passed away in 2017. Many have re-examined Hale and Burr's relationship after discovering this note among her personal items, implying that their relationship extended well beyond the television cameras. Barbara Hale had never disclosed much about her personal life and hardly ever agreed to interviews that probed her feelings or intimate connections. But in the note she left behind, she at last revealed emotions she had long suppressed. She wrote, "Raymond was my rock. When I was unsure, he gave me courage, and when I doubted myself, he had faith in me." Those statements provide insight into a relationship that was firmly based on love and respect for one another. From the first Perry Mason series, which ran from 1957 to 1966, to the television films that brought the cast back together beginning in the 1980s, Hale and Burr had collaborated for almost 40 years. They remained together despite time, change, and loss. The media frequently misrepresents Raymond Burr, who was a private guy despite his commanding presence and gravity. According to Hale's letter, the two had a mutual understanding that only they could fully understand. Barbara observed that Ray had a kind heart. Kindness, humor, and a profound sense of loneliness were hidden behind his strong voice and the passion of his performances. Hale seemed to know more about Burr's calmer side of life than anybody else, and that statement illuminated it. She insisted that he was one of the most kind persons she had ever met, and she frequently spoke up for him when tabloids questioned his private life. Hale's confession was shocking since it appeared to go against her carefully constructed public persona as the composed, steady professional. She rarely displayed this kind of emotion in interviews, but the note did. She acknowledged that there were times when I relied on Ray more than I ought to have. He supported me during the long hours, the uncertainties, and the years when I questioned whether I was still important in Hollywood. Her statements implied that Burr was more than just a coworker. Rather, she was a source of support when she was feeling uncertain and alone. When Hale was chosen to play Della Street in 1957, a role that would come to define her career, they became friends. She and Burr struck up a discussion right away, and in between takes, they frequently laughed. "We didn't need to pretend to be buddies. You could sense it," Hale later remarked. However, the public was unaware of how their bond got stronger as they aged. Even though filming was challenging, Hale remained by Burr's side when he fell ill in the early 1990s and paid him many visits. According to the note, she never fully recovered from the gap left in her life by his 1993 death. She admitted, "Something inside me went quiet when Ray left us. I could still hear his voice whenever I entered a stage." The vulnerability of Barbara Hale's note is what gives it such impact. It was written for her family, not the general public, to describe the close friendship that influenced her life on a personal and professional level. According to her, "We truly loved one another, not in a romantic sense, but rather with an unwavering commitment." Their entire legacy was reframed by that assertion. Hale's truth was more straightforward but more profound than Hollywood's, which flourished on rumors of covert scandals and secret affairs. An unconditional affection that had no bounds or expectations. Burr's significance to her family was later recognized by her children, particularly her son William Cat. At one point, Cat said that Burr was like an uncle to him, always kind and friendly. Hale affirmed that sentiment in her note. She wrote that Ray was family. To Medela, "He was more than just Perry, he was a part of our lives." The entertainment industry lamented the death of a cherished actress when Barbara Hale died on January 26, 2017, at the age of 94. Her last comments, however, provided a fresh perspective on the woman behind Della Street for those who found the note. They exposed a person who prioritized honesty over attractiveness, loyalty over celebrity, and compassion above ambition. She didn't make a scandalous admission. It was a story of appreciation, love, and enduring companionship. Ultimately, Barbara Hale's letter did more than only alter public perception of her relationship with Raymond Burr. It changed the definition of calm, profound love in a spectacle-obsessed culture. She concluded, "I would just say thank you for every word, every laugh, if I could speak to Ray again, and each and every moment we spent together in our life's narrative." These lines now act as a moving reminder that some of the most romantic tales are not written in screenplays, but rather in the private moments between two hearts that truly knew one another. At the amazing age of 94, Barbara Hale died quietly on January 26, 2017, at her Sherman Oaks, California, home. An era came to an end with her passing. For a generation of television viewers who had grown to know and love her as Della Street, the composed and astute secretary who stood steadfastly next to Raymond Burr's Perry Mason for almost 40 years, in addition to her close family and innumerable admirers. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, was the cause of Hale's death. She had fought this illness valiantly in her later years, with the same quiet dignity and courage that had defined her career and her personal life. Her passing had a profound impact on the entertainment sector. Tributes flowed in from all over the world as co-workers, admirers, and television historians took a moment to commemorate the lady whose skill and grace had made her an enduring legend. Many of them recalled her close relationship with Raymond Burr, both on and off screen. They had formed one of the longest-running collaborations in television history, a bond based on affection, respect, and an underlying understanding that went beyond the roles they played. Many others considered how, in an industry that is frequently dominated by glitz and ego, Hale had transcended her career as an actor to become a symbol of quiet brilliance and unwavering dedication.